Jai Shiva. Today we'll be talking about types of freedom. How many levels are there when it comes to freedom, your freedom, right? So if we look at the large perspective, okay, you are not just an individual who is surviving alone in some kind of space or galaxy alone. No, you're not, right? You are connected to people, you're connected to family, your family is connected to the community you are in, and your community is finally part of a country, a state, a country, and then a country is part of the planet Earth, right? So this is how we see it. So if we look at the largest implication or the largest level that you have is the country level, at the level of the country. So at first you are living in a free country. Most of you are living in a free country, right? There are exceptions and we all know that. So we're not going to talk about that. But what I'm saying is that politically your country is free. Financially, economically, your country is free. Now the countries, those which were colonized by other kind of population, other kind of races, other countries, other colonizers, those countries have gone through a substantial amount of change in their culture, change in their mindset, right? So long after the fact that there is no political slavery or political bandhana, economical and financial freedom is there, and intellectual freedom, freedom from the mindset of being a slave, freedom from the mindset may not be there. And that can be seen with so many countries now that they are understanding since last 10 years or so, 20 years or so. They are understanding the importance of having a free mindset, a mindset that says that my culture or my belief system, my culture, my way of living is equally important and is equally, has the equal right in this existence to exist, and it should not be judged on the basis of the mindset or belief system or parameters of measurement that the colonizers may had. Okay, so these kind of intellectual freedom fights are still going on around it. Now say you found all kinds of freedom, even intellectually you are free. You understand that your culture, your Sanskriti, your belief system has a place and is a respected one, and you don't have to go by the yardsticks of your colonizers when it comes to education, when it comes to how you see the world, just the perspective about it, perspective about your own language, perspective about your shastras, your books, your belief system, whatever that is. It's the same thing for those who are nature believers and long before colonizers polluted them and pushed on their own agendas. So say for example, these are the levels of freedom, and let's say you are free. Okay, nobody is torturing you or keeping you as a slave in your own house, in your own family, in your own community, in your own state and country. Okay, you belong to a free world. But then comes the question of the mindset of slavery. There's still this question pending, because then you may become a slave of your own habits, your own mental and emotional behavioral patterns. You may very well become a slave for those things, right? Ask any person who is addicted to alcohol. If a person is addicted to alcohol, or a person addicted to crazy eating, food, or a person addicted to too much talking, and they know that there is a problem, that there is this kind of a very strong sanskara of mental and emotional. Sanskara means mental, emotional, behavioral pattern. Okay? So very strong inclination towards such things. Then ask them, what is the meaning of freedom for them? Until and unless you are experiencing life beyond your mind, emotions, body, until you are experiencing something that is of the beyond, what's the purpose of freedom? A lot of people, nobody is keeping them slave, yet they are slave of their habits, right? It could be as simple as a habit of thinking, constantly worrying about something. It could be a habit of getting into invoking fear from within very quickly. Just something small may happen, some small change the world or the planet Earth or things may go through, and suddenly there is a lot of fear. It's one thing to respond. It's one thing to respond to anything, and it's a completely another thing to behave in fear. So when lot of activists and these people, some are genuine ones, but a lot of them are just the noisemakers, right? They're not bringing any real change. They're just the voice, or you can say noise. Some voice, sometimes people are voicing their important and really useful opinions, but most of the time it's noise. So all these activists, when they are working, they are trying to, tell you that we are working for your intellectual freedom, we are working for your freedom of your culture, your belief, your Sanskriti, this and that. Fine. That is a good thing to do. No need to undermine their efforts. But on your part, if you are still the slave of the old traditions, whatever your family experienced in last 50 years, you are going by that. Whatever your family went through 100 years ago, you are going just by that. You're not ready to change yourself. Then there is no value in fighting the fight of the freedom. Any kind of freedom. If you are not ready to change yourself, if you are not ready to free yourself from your own hardened chitta vrittis, your own hardened mental, emotional and behavioral patterns, if you are not ready to free yourself from them, then any kind of external freedom, it could be the freedom of political freedom, economical freedom, physical freedom, financial freedom, freedom of speech, or freedom of, any kind, intellectual freedom of your culture, your belief system, your religion, any kind of external freedom will have no value, will not matter until and unless you are ready to modify what's in here, what's in your manomaya kosha, your chitta, the warehouse of sanskaras, the warehouse of mental, emotional and psychological behavioral patterns. Until you are ready to change those patterns, what use it is any external freedom? So some people in their this lifetime, current lifetime, they fight for that freedom, that kind of an external freedom. Okay, let's make your culture, your belief system, your religion, your, your shastras, your everything that you have. Let's make all of that free from the slaved mindset. Let's make it free. Let's make it recognized as an entity, individual, different, unique entity in this world. So some people's job is to give you that kind of an external freedom. Okay? But then somebody from the country, within the community, within the family may arise and impose another kind of bonded or slaved mindset, another kind of slavery, intellectual slavery. Somebody may get up and push you into that, and you are susceptible to that kind of slavery, because yet you got all kinds of external freedoms. You are not yet free inside. You're not yet free within yourself. So gurus, or the spiritual people, those who are trying to make this planet Earth, the human population, make them conscious of what they are doing, conscious of what they are speaking, conscious of what they're thinking in their head, conscious of their own emotional states. Be aware, be conscious, and live consciously. So all the gurus and spiritual gurus and Mahatmas, they are trying to make this thing people conscious, so that when an external freedom is given to you, is handed over to you, any freed property, it could be a free family, it could be free culture, it could be free belief system, it could be freed anything. So when the freedom is handed over to you, you are able to keep it free and help it grow within the freedom structure. So spiritual gurus are creating yogis, are creating people, those who can lead the freedom. And then there are freedom fighters of all kinds. We had freedom fighters in our country, in India, right? Those who fought for our political freedom, fought for our financial and economical freedom. And yet there are so many unsung heroes, those who are still fighting for the intellectual freedom. So if you ever want to, honor those freedom fighters, whatever kind of freedom they are fighting for, if you ever want to honor them, your primary responsibility is to be free in your head, to be free from your strong mental, emotional, behavioral patterns. Stop using them as a filter to perceive the world. Become the beholder of that freedom, which will be handed over to you. Namaste. Jai Shiva.